The Juneteenth celebration is tomorrow, so that's really exciting. It's from 4 to 8. We see there's going to be some rain. We're working that out. We're going to make it happen no matter what. So we're working out some plans for that. But it's from 4 to 8 in Municipal Park. Like we've been saying, there's entertainment, there's a panel discussion with community leaders, there's food trucks. There's going to be a lot of good stuff. So please come down if you can. We'll have a DDA table as well with our Love and Lathrup bags. We have a lot of fun things in there with voter registration. There's a lot in there. So it'll be a good event. Come sit at the table if you want to. You know, always good to get the word out about the DDA and what we do. So we previously talked about doing a scavenger hunt in the fall through Oakland County Parks and Rec. They're having some staffing issues over there. So am I still freezing?
No, we can hear you.
Okay, because I can see in my camera that I'm not moving, so I wasn't sure. So we're going to revisit that maybe later, potentially, depending on what their funding and staffing problems may be. So then the next big thing that's happening is the Summer in the Village concert series is coming up starting on Wednesday. We'll have businesses tabling with us. We have a few dates still open in July, so we're going to work on getting those businesses there. They can give out information, free giveaways. They won't be selling anything, just to get the word out. And we'll also be kicking off our 25 Ways to Love Lathrup Village in honor of the Community Foundation. And that will be going from concerts through the end of the year. A big thing with the concerts is we're looking at a way to get people out to the food trucks. So we're going to talk about that a little later under new business, and potentially doing a coupon for $5 off to just get, we don't have the best reputation with food trucks because our crowds are a little small when it comes. So we're just trying to get people out, people back. So we'll talk about that a little bit later, how we're going to try and get that through a coupon that the DDA is sponsoring. Then next thing is the info meeting. Our next one we're planning is September 15th from 4 to 6 p.m. It's a Wednesday, and we really want to make this a bigger event. Our info meetings, you know, don't really have the greatest attendance. It's just us kind of being like, this is the DDA and what we do. So we're hoping to make it a bigger, better event. So we're going to try and make it a networking event for our businesses. We're going to include resources that we'll have there, information potentially about the American Rescue Plan. The DDA has requested $50,000 from the city. Not sure there's an update with that. I know the city got their numbers of what they're receiving, but we're going to try and do another Love and Lathrup business grant through that, especially focusing on home-based businesses. So we'll present information about that. Oakland County has some resources for businesses too. So Annika, we were hoping to reach out to Eric about that and maybe getting them present at that. So just really making it focusing on the businesses. So it's not just this is the DDA, but this is what's available to you, and connecting our businesses like, oh, you need an accountant. We have accountants in the city. So that kind of connection is going, which is one of our long-term goals, is building that business to business network. And then finally, we talked about just how can we promote more. So getting word out about all of our events through definitely doing ads in the Southfield Sun. It goes to all our residents. So putting out an ad for these are our next few events, continue using our PSA resources through the Lathrup Village cable channel and e-newsletter, and just getting word out about that. So people are more aware of what's going on. And then this is very briefly touched on doing a brand launch. As many of you know, our EV committee has working on our rebranding and the new logo. So exploring how to get maybe some merch with our new logo, getting new bags with the logo and items like that. So there's a lot of good and exciting things coming up there. So if you have any questions about promotions, I can answer them.
I think, well, people are formulating their questions here. I think it's important to say how much work not only the committee, but you, Corey, personally put into the celebration tomorrow, and to see it kind of almost have more meaning now because it's a national holiday is really kind of cool. So hopefully we're building some traditions there, and would love to see that continue. So hats off, really good job on that project. It's been going on for a couple months, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Good
Yeah,
job,
please come
Corey.
if you-
Also,
Go ahead, Kelly.
I want to say congratulations also. The one thing that I would say is that I looked at that sponsor sheet, and on the actual sponsor sheet, it says that it's due June 18th. And then on the letter, it said June 11th about, I guess, funding or something. So I just wanted to let you know that I still owe you all $500, but I obviously did not read it right, or I was totally confused.
We still have time. We can still take sponsors for it. So
Okay.
things can be adjusted. And thanks for telling me. I didn't realize that I had 2 different dates.
No worries, but thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate your support.
Yeah, I think we're going to cover the actual logo a little later. I saw in the pack. So I know that the promotions committee authorized certainly some ideas around getting some t-shirts and stuff made up. I think that's really cool. I'd love to see the kind of the unity in having the same branding and promotional. So really good stuff. Great. Any other questions for Corey around promotions? Promotions committee report. All right. Are you presenting on economic vitality?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to grab my minutes from that. Okay. So we had a meeting the beginning of the month. So we discussed a lot of logo next steps. So you'll see the final main logo and some marks in a little bit. But the next steps is she's working on the fun stuff like brand elements, the header, letterhead, sorry, could not think of what it's called there for a second, envelopes. And then we always do these calendars, well, always, as in the past few months, that we put out when we do mailings. So we talked to her about doing with our new logo and elements. She's going to put together a calendar so we can fill it in as we go. And that way we have that consistent schedule that's out there with all our upcoming events. So that's coming up with our next steps of the branding. And we just discussed that about our collateral pieces. Then we talked about updates with our restaurant relief. Kebab has a few remaining funds. He actually gave me a call today that he has receipts for the reimbursement for the last of his remaining $4,000. We have to use that by the end of the month. So he'll be good.
Yeah, wow, that's great.
So we were able to get $30,000 out to 3 restaurants, which is really awesome, and able to support them. And thank you, Annika, for helping us with this. And it's been a great program. So we discussed that. And then once again, I talked about the food trucks. We'll cover that more thoroughly in new business. But like I said, we're looking at ways to incentivize. Wow, I'm with you, Susie. It's a Monday on a Friday. People to out on the food trucks. And then the final items we touched on is how do we get that business welcome package? How we get people out and welcoming our businesses. So Bobby sent me a great list of different items that should be included in a business welcome packet. So now that we have those new logos, we can really get a nice welcome packet together with different resources. And I believe that's it for Evie, unless I missed anything.
Hey, Corey, can I ask you a question about what you just said?
Yeah.
Okay, did you mean getting the welcome packet out to all businesses regardless, or just the timing of when we give it to a new business? Like, I'm assuming they apply for their business license. They get the license, they get the packet, something like that. Did you also want to just disseminate this just as a communication tool to all of the businesses?
I think we, Susie, you have something you want to say?
It's Corey's glitching out on that one.
Yeah, you clicked out on that one, Corey. That's like a blah, blah, blah kind of answer. We could change the cover and call it something other than a welcome packet. You know, just swap out the cover for the existing businesses.
I think for this initial year, and there's been, I'm sure you've seen it as one of our businesses. I mean, we're working really hard internally to improve the entire business licensing and commercial landlord licensing process, and it's a pretty big undertaking. So I think as part of just general communication, as we move, as we continue to refine that and improve it, we'll provide this the business welcome packet as a resource for all of our businesses, but definitely as people receive, probably not when they apply, but when they receive their business license.
Right.
It'll be, you know, what we do is we send out, well, you've seen them, you know, big old manila envelope with their actual business license. So it'll probably be included within that as the information. So, and then as part of the grand designs of things, right, it'll be a resource on the city's website as we continue to make those updates to the web. So,
Oh,
yeah.
Yep.
And that process is, I mean, that's happening as well, right? The update to the website. So we're getting there slowly but surely.
I just wanted to add too, since we didn't have beautification task forces on Monday, so I didn't have an update, but we did have the cleanup last Saturday, and we had 15 people come. So it's a good turnout.
Awesome. Any other questions for Corey or even Susie for promotions or economic vitality? I don't see any of the questions.
Hey, Jan, I had a quick question. This isn't on either topic. This was something I neglected to ask on the financial review. So if there wasn't any questions, I want to go back. I had a quick question on the financial, the finances.
Okay, go ahead.
So, Susie, I know you said we had extra taxes, or just collected more taxes than we had anticipated, and so to be clear, and I'm reading this correctly, the miscellaneous revenue that we had projected at 6,000 came in at 18,000, and that's not taxes, right? That's something else. Was that outlined, or can you say what that was a result of?
That is not taxes. Most of our grants went into the state and federal. So we did get some, outside revenue through that patronicity that wasn't, it wasn't from the state,
Okay.
wasn't from necessarily from the county. So it's possible that that's where they were like extra bonus business donations, right? So that's probably from where that's probably what that is reflected of.
Okay, and then our investment interest, I know this is a just kind of fixed amount at 10,000, and I'm guessing we have it in some type of cash or some type of money market fund. I'm not sure, but for that to be projected at 10 and come in at 2,400, was there any anything specific as to why that projection was off? I mean, just the investment return was lower than what we anticipated.
I don't know if there's anything specific. That's not a topic I was able to cover with Pam before our meeting today. So
yeah, I can cover organically. I can cover that, not as relates to these funds, but I know that a lot of the municipal money that we hold here at the credit union, all those rates got changed because of the federal stimulus, and they're basically next to nothing. Where we were projecting maybe 10 or 12 basis points return, they're now 1 or 2 basis points return because of what happened with the federal funds rate. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
basically free money. You know, we hold quite a bit of it here, and to be honest, most financial institutions are carrying extra cash right now and they can't deploy it. So there's no value in it. Even though we lower the CD rates to almost nothing, they like beg us to take it because there's nowhere else to put it. So
Yeah.
that would be my guess, is just we have projected to be at a certain point and far out. And ultimately we probably should look at that as we do the budget next year, and then Susie, just to make sure. So.
Okay,
Okay, yeah, I apologize. I went back. That's all I had. Thanks.
no, that's fine.
Yeah. And all
I
of
did
that
have a
grant-
question about,
So go ahead, Kelly.
no, go ahead, Dan, I'm sorry.
I was just going to finish on Fred's question. All of that grant funds and those additional income, miscellaneous stuff was all just passed through. You know, whatever we got, we spent out with businesses. So, and if we got matching funds, I'm sure that's where it went, was in the miscellaneous stuff. So go ahead, Kelly.
The pain trying to get off mute. So for promotions and beautification, I did talk to Susie before, and I'm not sure if this is the right time to say it or not, but about garbage cans. I know that Cheryl is cringing right now. I wish I could be there to see her face, but garbage cans around the DDA district. Just wanted to bring that up again to Susie to see if that's something that we would maybe consider.
Yes.
Or we can do this under new business. I'm not really sure where it goes.
Yeah, we can do it now. I actually, I think probably like 2 days after you and I talked about that, I got a magazine in the mail with garbage cans. So, so Corey and I are going to be shopping to see what's out there. I don't think she's had an opportunity to do that. I know I have not yet, but it's still on the radar. Come on, you got to be our first trash thrower awayer. That was not good English, I'm sorry. But so we're still shopping, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to bring something to the board, probably up via either the Beautification Committee or EV. I'm not entirely sure, probably Beautification, in the next month or so.
Yeah, I think we talked about this briefly before. Just make sure that plan includes who's going to empty the trash cans. 'Cause
Right.
Nothing looks worse than a trash can that's overflowing. So.
I love Cheryl's face. I had to make sure I could see her picture when we talked about this, because that was her concern.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Right. No,
I just know because in my office here at the credit union, I look out at one of our beautiful trash cans here in the front, and man, they get used. We empty them 3 times a day. It's crazy how much trash goes through these things. So.
And the goal here is what, to provide unanimity in the look of the trash cans, or just to provide trash cans that aren't there? There are no existing trash cans there.
I
Yes,
think
to
the thought
both.
was that, bring it and they will come. So all the trash that is along the road will magically make its way to the inside of the container.
Okay,
And if you
Yeah.
pick something up, now you have someplace to put it. Now that you have one less excuse not to pick up something at the side of the road. So.
And I do see residents that are walking around picking up trash, and so to
Yeah,
have a place
for
where they
sure.
can throw it away would be great. My
Yeah.
other thing for promotions, Cheryl and I literally just met with a Roadmaster Vet Club, and they want to do a car show.
Oh.
Both on July 17th. They were doing it in Southfield. So they want to do one in Lathrup because the president just moved to Lathrup. And so on July 17th, they want to do one. Dan, this is where you come in too, because I did talk to Michael Post about it, but to do it in the parking lot at Michigan First. So that would actually be a show, just, where people bring old school cars and the vets would be there. But then August 14th, which is reserved already through the city of Lathrop Village, where this would actually be a car show award show. So it will be a big deal. And so I wanted to also just bring that up to the DDA, and I gave the flyer to Susie already.
Yep.
Like a card judging event type thing?
We have a new project to work on, Corey. We needed something for August too, actually, so this works out fabulously.
So Kelly, when you talked to my boss, did you get the answer you wanted, or are you asking me to talk to him? I guess she's gone. All right. I'll follow up offline with you, Susie, about that if I need to follow up, so. All right, any other questions around promotions or EV committee or anything else that anyone wants to ask a question? All right, let's, not hearing any, let's move on. Rami, are you gonna cover May code enforcement for us? Or is Susie gonna do that? Am I frozen? Anybody else frozen?
I'm not frozen.
No, I
think
see you.
the
You're moving.
people- I think it's the people at Lathrup Village are out, and we lost them all. Corey's-
Oh, yes, we sure did.
Yeah, give them a second to reconnect here, so. I knew when Kelly didn't respond that they must have a connection issue there. And then see if they can all get, I'm surprised the meeting didn't end because
Yeah.
Susie was the leader, so.
How many people did we lose?
Everybody at the
Well, maybe they had a
Yeah.
power up.
something happened there.
Huh.
This is interesting. We can't go on because we don't have a quorum anymore, so. Let's see if I can text Susie.
So we lost Corey, Susie, Cheryl,
Yeah, they're coming back on
but
now.
the mayor was at her house. Where was she?
Yeah, she stayed.
Susie, you're on mute.
So just the city.
Yeah,
Hold on, Susie,
Susie's.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
we can
Yeah.
now.
Can you hear me now? There you are. Look how cute your hair looks.
Oh, probably if I turned on my audio. I don't know what happened. Corey and I, and presumably Cheryl just all got kicked out. So sorry, I'm doing this.
Yeah, your connection,
That
Susie,
haircut
is
is
Really,
long.
the connection is pretty strained, yeah.
yeah.
So
It's not gonna-
hold on, let me. So where are we at?
Well,
we were-
we're-
We
For the
were
code
trying to get code enforcement. If he's,
And actually, I don't know why my phone does not want to. Hey, so Corey and I are gonna do this from my office, from my phone.
Hey,
I'm
Susie,
gonna see if I can.
See, that's what I do. I'm on my phone and then I can use the computer.
if everybody could just hold 1 second. Susie, we don't have a quorum, so.
We
can't vote
don't
on-
now.
No,
Where's Cheryl? We missed Cheryl.
Cheryl's
We-
gone, Kelly's gone. So
Kelly's still on. I still see Kelly.
Kelly's still here.
Is Kelly muted?
Yeah,
she's not
Yeah.
able to unmute then.
She's muted. Yeah, she's muted.
You know what? I guess we do have 6. I'm sorry. We do have 6. We can keep
I don't know
going.
why. Oh, there we go. All right. Sorry. Corey and I are gonna get creative here. My plant Spike is going to be, I guess that's his name now, Spike. So, hi, sorry.
All right,
Um,
let's level set here for a second. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. And 6 if we can count Kelly, but I can't hear Kelly, so I don't know if she's there or not.
I'm here. I had a little bit of an issue. I'm sorry. It just
Okay, so
went
now
out.
we have a quorum. We have 6 people. And we're all the way up to code enforcement if you want to keep moving, so.
Okay, and I thought we had. All right, so, and it doesn't look like Rami is in here either anymore because of our internet snafu. But, all right, so in your packet, we did, so Rami was here, he was gonna say hi. Nice to meet you. So you'll notice that the code enforcement report that was in the packet was a little bit different from the last time. And really, we're just trying to refine that at this point to make it better reflect what he's doing. So that's a little bit better. Sorry. So you can, I mean, most of his communications are actually not, he's not writing a lot of enforcement. He's been literally calling and meeting with property owners and trying to resolve issues without having to take that hard line of writing violations and tickets and whatnot. So I'd love to get your feedback on the report. I think
Yeah,
that
I think, Susie, I think the at least what I expressed last time was just, because we were sharing the cost in this originally, that we should just see a report that reflects the activity that he's doing in the DDA, which that looks like this does pretty well, and lists out kind of the action. So certainly the approach, versus fine versus, do we ask first and second, then fine if no action, I think is a great approach. And this definitely lays it out a little bit better, for sure.
I think we'll try and work on possibly a spreadsheet for him. I don't know if it's I just literally don't know if it's something that I'm not sure if he's not having these he's not writing enforcement or whatnot. I'm not sure how we would be able to draw the report through our BFNA system, which I think was sort of his challenge. So we're going to try and work on a spreadsheet that he can at least fill in, and then add a little bit of narrative to it so that there's a little bit more detail on some of those things. So
lump it like all of his calls versus on-site visits, or put them into buckets.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like I personally, I would like to see, I know what some of these addresses are, right? Just because I have way too many addresses in my head, to be honest with you. Right. But like, for example, number 10, met with Cresto about both his properties. I would like to see, I would like to see the properties listed. So we know exactly which properties he's referring to. And then like, properties, issues, action taken, and, a date, that kind of stuff. So, it's a work in progress, but I think people are definitely starting.
And she's frozen.
Busy guy.
Susie's frozen again.
Yeah. Well, while we're waiting for her to come back, I will say I was very.
Go ahead.
I was very pleased to see that he's been talking to property owners about cleaning out the ditches, because there's no date there. I don't know when he talked to them. All I know is when I was at the cleanup this past Saturday, every ditch was full of muck and crap and paper and styrofoam and everything you can imagine. And mucking out the gutters is maybe a little above and beyond what we could expect volunteers to sign up for. And as well, there's netting at the bottom of the ditch. I'm not sure if that's to hold soil back or what the reason is, but it makes it especially difficult to get the debris out of there, because like paper just soaks into it. So it's half underneath the net and half above. So yeah, I'd love to see some follow up on that. And on, I don't know how long, how much time he gives property owners to rectify relatively minor situation like that.
It kind
But
of depends, but
Yeah.
and that's something that we've kind of talked about too, is like the enforcement for the commercial properties, when, you know, DDA/city also has responsibilities for maintenance in the corridor. So, I mean, that was a fun conversation. But we're working through it. I mean, you know, as I've told him, you know, we do have two seasonal employees, they're high schoolers, and their, you know, primary responsibilities are beautification and maintenance within the corridor. So that's, you know, the flower baskets, are, you know, the flower beds, the weeding, and then alleyways are in there as well as part of their maintenance responsibilities. It's just a lot of work for two people to get to, two part-time people to get to. So, but we're working through that, and I'm optimistic that, so our goal with this commercial brochure is to identify, you know, we're hoping for 10, the top 10 issues that Rami sees through the corridor, and kind of like, you know, Corey's going to be our design guru because she's awesome like that. And so she's, you know, this is what not to do, and this is what to do, right? And so hopefully, you know, maybe, you know, a lot of code enforcement is education, and, you know, people just don't necessarily know that, for example, you know, if you use the alley, you're responsible for maintaining the alley. I mean, it's no different than your sidewalk. You use, you know, you're responsible for your sidewalk. You're also responsible for making sure the alley is, you know, clean from debris and etc. So we're hoping that that'll help. That'll go out as a separate mailing.
All right, just to be clear, the right of way though is the owner's responsibility, not the DDA's?
Correct.
Or is it murky? Okay.
No, that's correct. So, and so we're gonna be working through it. So, and hopefully, we won't have technical glitches anymore, and we'll bring Rami to the next meeting. So you'll see him in July.
Maybe we'll go back to in person at some point.
Maybe we'll.
We have to glitch out in person, so.
Right. Yeah. No kidding. So.
Right.
A quick question,
Yes.
kind of related. Do we have a littering ordinance?
We do have. You're gonna make me look that up. I can't look it up right
I
now.
mean, I've seen more than
We have a
once
trash.
where.
We do have trash and debris.
Okay, I mean,
I don't know exactly what it says.
I've seen where people throw, you know, they're just in their car and they'll just throw trash out, you know, just right onto the street or right on Southfield, right in some of the parking lots. You know, right where they're parking, going into a store, they'll just throw trash, you know, and is there anything, you know, ticket, like you get somebody's license plate, is there anything we can do with that? Or it is, you know, just you know, kind of the times we live in, nothing you can do about it.
Well, I'm sure that if we, you know, if an officer saw it, we can certainly ask the officers to you know, enforce that and write the ticket. I know for sure that is one of the reasons that Mayor Garrett brought up the idea of garbage cans to me along the corridor. We just don't. I mean, they're like a rare beast in the city, right? Like they just don't really exist. So, I mean, that's one way to help combat that. I mean, you might see them at like a few different places, but for the most part, they're not. Garbage cans aren't available. So,
Okay.
I can look into, into specifically what our trash and litter and debris ordinance says, so I can give you a better answer. Of course, my ordinance is online and I have no internet connection on my computer, so I can look into that and get back to you.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yep.
Welcome back, Cheryl.
Oh, we have.
All right. Any other questions around that, or we can move on to 7B, which I believe Susie is your update.
That's my update. So Corey's already gone over the events. I will, you know what, I'm gonna go for our business update. We actually have quite a few businesses moving and grooving around here. 27 and 215 Southfield. They are just on that north side of Sunnybrook where the old staffing agency was. He's making renovations to his property. He was kind of stalled out with the building official and getting all of his permit approvals, but he's got those now. He's going to be finishing up his interior renovations. It's going to be a doctor's office, and he's going to have an MRI, a mobile MRI facility there for at least a little while. His intention is actually to, I guess, build up enough points to bring the machine inside. So he's working on that. Discount Tire is actually, they're intending to expand their building for dead tire storage. So there's no more piles upon piles of old nasty tires sitting on the north side of their property. And they're going to be expanding their parking lot on an adjacent on an adjacent property that they own. So they're going for special land use approval in front of council on Monday. We have a new physical therapy rehabilitation center going in where the former gin cleaners are located. And actually you will see that's later in your packet. They've applied for a sign grant. So that's exciting. We also have Lathrup Village Apartments is going to be finishing up some of their remaining site work. It looks like they're going to be delaying the construction of the final 2 buildings on that site due to the excessive building materials costs and the shortage of contractors right now. So, but they're at least going to be working on their screen wall and stormwater improvements. BP Gas, I know, this is not moving and shaking, unfortunately. They've stalled out. I'm not entirely sure what the issue is, other than probably financing. And we're going to be taking steps to get that site secured because it looks like a hot mess. And then we are, like I mentioned earlier, we're working to refine our commercial licensing and our commercial landlord licensing and business licensing processes. It's been a project, but right now we have about 100 businesses that have renewed, and approximately 20 or so commercial landlord licenses which have been renewed. Final reminder letters went out towards the middle of last week, and I know Caldo's gotten even more business licenses returned. So we're doing pretty good. It's 2/3 to half of what we expected, and everybody's been really responsive so far. So it's like I said, it's been a project. It's going a little bit slower than we want it to, but ultimately in the end, slowly but surely we're making it into a better, more intuitive process. So we'll get there. I guess the biggies are the comprehensive plan, which is out for comment, set for adoption by the Planning Commission in July at their July 20th meeting. Cannabis. So we had our open house on May 16th. We probably had about 24 individuals that were there. Half were industry people, half were a mix of residents and commercial property owners. Planning Commission also had a public comment, not official public hearing at their meeting on Tuesday. I'd say we're kind of split, to be honest, at this point. Most of the comments we got at the open house were from residents not in favor of it. The comments at the Planning Commission leaned more towards we're in favor, neutral to being in favor of it. And commercial property owners, as Shyla, I'm sure can attest, are just plagued with very aggressive industry folks, and lots of questions to make sure that they've got all the information they need to make sound business decisions. So City Council will be having their first reading on June 21st for the general code. Planning Commission will be having an official public hearing on July 20th. And then, and making whatever their recommendation is going to be on the 20th. And then City Council has a public hearing, or a public, I'm sorry, no, not public hearing. They're having their second reading on July 26th. So a lot's going to be happening. Notices have been put out for all of it. So we're moving forward with that. Infrastructure keeps moving forward. We're actually 2 weeks ahead for the for all the paving work that's being done. So that's exciting. We're going to be selecting a sidewalk contractors hopefully on Monday. A recommendation is going to be made to council, and with the sidewalk replacement program starting in July, August. So those are really the highs of what's been happening. I'm sure you've all noticed. Thank you, Beautification Committee led by Pam. Flower baskets are up, getting so much great feedback from it. I mean, Annika called us earlier this week. They look great. My mom called me. I drove through, they look great. Like, you know, I mean, my mom's going to cheer for us anyways, but, you know, we even got love on the villagers. So people are happy to see our hanging baskets, and so work will continue. But that summarizes it. Hits the highs anyways.
Yeah, and I did notice, am I on mute? No, I did notice that on your social media, we saw the bike repair stations go up. Those were kind of cool too. So.
Yeah, did you like that video of, did you put the video up? No, the video needs to be.
Just
Corey,
still pictures,
Corey
yeah.
and I had an excellent adventure. Some of it was a comedy of errors, and I guess stay tuned for the video. We had fun going out to explore, and hopefully for those visual learners out there, we've done a decent enough job of showing you how the bike repair stations will work. I guess let us know if we need
I can't
to
wait
do
to see
a
it.
job.
It'll be great.
So Corey will get that posted soon. Yeah. So
any questions for Susie? That was a lot of information she just got out there. And I think Susie, it looks like Kelly was trying to log out and log back in too. So
yeah, she sent me a
you can
text
see.
saying she had some connectivity issues. So
You
we're
can
still,
see the video or the chat there, but any questions for Susie?
Yeah, well, just a comment, basically. I'm speaking as a resident now, and just one thing to keep an eye on for the paving project.
Yeah.
My street was paved, and the water, after it rains now, the water lays on the road, and it never did that before. And also, they messed up my yard as far as driving on my yard and leaving, taking up the sod. So I called, and it took forever to finally reach the guy who was in charge, and he seemed very disinterested. But he did say, "Oh yeah, we're going to come back and seed the area." So I'm waiting for that to happen.
Okay.
And I'll report if nobody ever shows up.
Yeah, I know they did. I know in terms of the water standing on the road, that could be just part of the curing process. I'm still learning, but I'll ask our city engineer if there's specific reasoning we should be sharing with residents about that. I know the landscaping or like restoration, property restoration. Well, not today is probably not the best example because it's either some porn, cats and dogs, but the extreme heat, we kind of delayed some of that, so it wasn't so we weren't just frying the grass seed right off the bat. So I know that part got a little bit delayed, but yeah, please let me know if they don't put out there. So
Okay,
we'll get it fixed.
thank you.
Yep.
All right, no other questions or comments? I believe we've held Annika hostage long enough. So Annika, I know that we're coming up to 7C on our agenda, which is a Main Street Oakland County update. So what do you have for us?
Hey, I'm still in DDA. We had a power outage. Well, brown out.
Well, hi, good afternoon. Thanks for letting me join in on your meeting. We're taking back to the streets and making sure we're spending time in all the Main Street programs throughout the county. Catching back up. I know Susie and Corey and I have been in a lot of contact via, Skype, Zoom, Teams, phone calls, all of that. But it's time to get back out and to in person. And so we'll be scheduling those meetings as well. It is important for us to stop and make sure we understand your DDA boards, what your goals and objectives are for the year. So that's why I'm sitting in. I don't have a whole bunch to give to you. I just really wanted to hear what you guys were doing today. I will share a few updates. We are currently working on revamping our tiers, and I know Susie may have heard that in 2019 because that's when we started the project, and we felt like we were moving along pretty quickly, and then the pandemic hit, and we completely pivoted and worked on grants, PPE, and other things like that. So we're pulling that all back together. We're going to be offering some more opportunities for you in the current level that you're at now. And of course, we are still encouraging that you work on a few things and tweak a few things so you can get up to that select level where there's even more opportunity. But let's see here, what else do we have? Yeah, we're currently working to pull some new grants together, working with a few different companies. That things are looking really good. I don't want to give too much information on that though. And we are working hard behind the scenes trying to get ARP money to our DDA districts. Let's see, I know Susie talked about stats a little bit. We are working on a stats infographic for all of our Main Street communities. Farmington is our template right now, and this is a great tool where you'll be able to show all the great things you've done either to businesses or maybe potential board members, your council members, and things like that. And Susie knows about that and has already told us that she's very interested. We're trying to get 100% participation from all 25 of our main streets because that's our goal. Because when we can show everyone's stats together in one spot, it really shows the impact that our Oakland County Main Street program has. Because it's quite, I've got to say, the pandemic was rough. But Oakland County downtowns especially came through better than others. And I don't want to take too much of your time. Let's see, there was one more thing. Oh, the promotions. We also our marketing team for Oakland County is focusing in on downtowns, and they are trying to promote one downtown a week. So you'll have the opportunity to pick hopefully a week in the future, maybe somewhere around the car show, maybe somewhere around a fundraising opportunity that you're trying to work on. And we will promote your downtown during that week. Paul Harrington's in charge of that. with the marketing team. And the very last thing is we are also working on a code of ethics. It's not really agreement, but code of ethics. Now it's Monday for me and I can't think of words, but yes. Just kind of an outline, because, you know, we keep talking about being more diverse in our Main Street programs. Our Main Street and DDA board should look like our business mix within our communities, right? Sometimes that mix doesn't mean color, but we need to really think about diversity, and you guys do a good job, and we appreciate that, and that's a great champion. But I think we need a code of ethics to go along with it. Make sure that we are being the inclusive downtowns that we really want to be. And of course, that's not, you know, this isn't going to be something that's forced on people, but I think it's a very good idea, and it brings even more legitimacy to our cause. So that's kind of all in all the wrap up. Are there any questions for me?
No, thank you very much, though, Annika. I really appreciate the update.
Yeah, thank you. Susie and Corey do a great job. I really enjoy being the liaison for Lathrup Village. You guys are rocking it and doing some pretty awesome things. Great positive energy. And I love to see how well your board is coming together and working. So kudos to you guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Annika.
Maybe you can, Susie, do we still need help with the Parks and Rec department? Maybe Annika can go down there and shake some stuff up and get it happening for us. So.
She might. I did get I've got a buddy, and I've got buddies all over Oakland County. So I've already, I reached out to one of their business development managers yesterday. So I've got a name and number to give to Corey and Chris. So hopefully that'll get resolved sooner rather than later.
Great. Thanks, Annika. Enjoy it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Thank you, Annika. Do you all need me for a vote, because I'm being pressured to get off my computer now?
6. I've got 6 people. I think you're good,
yes, right? We are gonna need some votes coming up.
Okay,
we
so
have enough, right? We have 6, right?
Do we have 6? I don't know. Yeah, I'm still.
Pam, myself, Shyla, Cheryl, Bobby, and Fred. Freddie, you're still there, right? Yeah, he just came up.
Still here.
Fred, yeah, he's still there. So I think we're good.
So if you need to jam, you can jam.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thanks, Kelly.
Have a good
Enjoy.
weekend.
Thank you too.
Thanks, Annika.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Feel free to call me if you need anything.
All right,
Awesome.
Enjoy the north. Thanks.
Thanks.
All right, couple of good updates there. Let's see if we can't pick up the pace here a little bit. What do we got
sorry.
on the logo of business?
Logo. So it's in your packet. We got the final concept picked. We went with concept number 2. And we I mean, as you can see, we picked, you know, that's what we're going with. Annika, what the heck is her name? Corey sitting next to me has been working with Maggie at Kitty Shark on our final little graphics and submarks. And so we actually, it's going to be featured in in our bags for tomorrow. So we're moving forward. We're going to do a final walkthrough with and brand reveal with Maggie. July 8th-ish. So do we need them to take action on this? No, so this is just just for your own information. So I'm really pleased with how well we're going with it, or how quickly it's going, I should say.
Are we doing that? We saw that one in promotions committee that was like the flower version of it. Are we not doing that?
That's one of the sub marks. So this, what was in your packet is the main logo. And I
this
can have
one, right?
Corey send out the sub marks to
Yes.
the entire board later.
I was gonna show all of them, but due to the technical difficulties we've had, and I'm no longer in my office at the moment. So I'll just send out the files so you guys can see all the sub marks that we have. And then the main logos too. So I'll send that out afterwards.
Yeah, it's a real clean pops too. It's really cool. I like it.
Thank you.
Yeah, looks very nice. We're both cool and hot with those colors.
Exactly.
All right. Any other questions around the logo or comments? All right. New business, 9A.
Budget amendments. So we knew that we were gonna have some budget amendments, even right off the bat. Corey sent out a slightly modified budget amendment spreadsheet this morning. After talking to Pam Bracci yesterday, we realized that we hadn't quite accounted for everything that we were going to have for the end of the month. So we just bumped up our numbers just ever so slightly in the particularly in the part-time seasonal crew numbers. We bumped that up from 1,000 to 1,500. We bumped up the employee taxes and benefits to 4191. And also we bumped up those planning and consulting fees because there's probably going to be at least one more invoice from Kipples Webster in there. So all in all, we are proposing to amend the budget so our total expenditures would be $343,700. And our actual budget or our actual revenue, total revenue for 2021 is $418,804. So this is really the expenditures represent just over $9,000 worth of increase from what we had budgeted in January. So this should line us all up for the end of the year.
Okay.
Are there any specific questions?
Looks like there's a little bit in planning and consulting, but most of
Yeah.
it is that way,
Yeah,
We
that's
we
new.
discovered probably in March that COVID didn't just impact, people's workplaces, work environments, but a bunch of invoices that were supposed to have gotten paid like between March and June of last year got lost. So got lost in the mail. So we're kind of catching up on that. But that number should drop next year because most of those invoices were directly from the master plan update, which we are done. We're done with that. So
What's the status on that? I mean, we should be completed now, right?
yep, we're completed. All those payments we're all up to date on that. The planning commission will be adopting that in July. It's out
Oh, in
for
July.
Yep, there's a 63-day comment period for to surrounding communities, so and residents. So we're in the midst of that right now, and they'll be adopting in July. So. But if you guys are comfortable with that, we just need a motion to adopt those budget amendments and forward them on to council for their inclusion on their meeting on Monday.
Yeah, they're pretty straightforward to me. Any questions around them, guys, or any comments? Or go ahead. No questions, Fred? All right, so I just need a motion to approve.
I will do that. Motion to approve the proposed amendments and to the budget and forward them on.
And
Support.
and support from Fred. So all in favor, Pam,
Yes.
Shyla,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Bobby,
Yes.
and Fred?
Yes.
Dan, yes, so unanimously approved to approve the amended budget and present it to council. So, all right, next item, sidewalk repair cost estimate.
Yep. So I feel like I've been a bit remiss in you guys all up to speed on the sidewalk program. So I'll apologize in advance for that. But as part of the 5 bajillion infrastructure projects that are happening this year, a sidewalk replacement program is one of them. And with the year 1 area of focus being all of the neighborhood south of 696 between the city borders and the entire commercial corridor of Southfield Road. In particular, the DDA, is responsible for the key flags, right? Which, so those are usually those are the corner flags, right? Where the sidewalk corners meet. Everything from that key flag down to the road is generally the responsibility of the municipality, whether it is the city or in the DDA district, the DDA, and that includes ADA improvements with those detectable warning pads, so like the dimple pads, the little red ones. So as part of the sidewalk replacement program, there's been several conversations within the infrastructure committee and at the city council study session level and internally of how are we going to do this. It is the responsibility of the property owners, generally speaking, to make sure their sidewalk is in good condition. We have envisioned the program working for residents, being that the city's contractor will do the work and then the resident will get billed for that work with an estimated cost of about $136 a square foot or a square flag, whatever you want to call it. So included in your packet, well, I'll back up before I say included in your packet. What the city is doing for the residents is they will be fronting that money to the contractor, and then the property owner, the onus is on the property owner to pay that money back. What we have envisioned for the DDA district is that the DDA would front the money, and we had originally thought about having the property owners also pay us back. In your packet, you will see that the estimated cost for sidewalk improvements along Southfield Road, and that includes all of the ADA, the key flags, all of the sidewalks, is just under $39,000. After looking at our budget numbers and thinking of ways that we can really support all of our businesses, I would like to propose the DDA just full on covers this cost, and that we foot the entire bill for the improvements of for the sidewalks for our entire commercial corridor, and we can also do this in years 2 and 3 for 11 and 12 mile respectively. Like I said, I think this would be a really good benefit to the business corridor and specifically to individually to the businesses. There's not a single one that won't be impacted. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. I fully expect that you have questions, so let me have them. Oh, I forgot to do the memo. Huh? Dang it.
Okay, here's a dumb question.
Not a dumb question.
I was multitasking, so did I miss the overarching number?
The overarching number for the DDA district would be $38,721.90. There was supposed to be a memo that I neglected to attach because son of a gun.
So we
because of-
should, then 11 mile or 12 mile would also be probably another 40 grand.
That's
or
what
take.
I'm
A little
guesstimating.
bit less, probably not quite as huge, but give or take a little bit. Okay, so if a city didn't have a DDA, that would then fall just to the municipality to cover that, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm
had to
sorry,
spell it
are we
out.
talking sidewalks or alleys?
Say that again, Cheryl?
I'm sorry, you were talking about the cost relative to sidewalks or alleys?
Sidewalks, I'm sorry,
Sidewalks, that would fall to the local business,
Oh, not the municipality.
Oh,
right?
sorry.
That's what I clarified, because that's what she was saying about the, okay.
So the 38,000, if we don't pay it, the local business would pay it.
They would
Right.
pay the vast majority of that. Yes, there are some, and it's not separated out. There's no good way to separate it out. In what we have, but there would be some portion of that 38,000 would be the responsibility of the DDA for just, sidewalk flags that would be replaced as part of ADA compliance issues. Right.
Sure.
So there, and ones that cross alleys and whatnot. So there would be some cost to us.
Regardless.
It would not be that entire 38,000.
Got it.
So are we talking, well, what's the timetable for this, for Southfield and then for the 11 and 12 mile? Road?
Southfield Road would be happening. That would be happening from July, it would begin in July, August. We're still pinning down exact dates. So that would be year one for the Southfield corridor. Year two would be either 12-mile road or 11-mile road. And year three would be either 11 or 12, whichever one didn't get done.
Okay.
So-
So your feeling is that we can afford this? It would just be out of a part of the budget that we haven't allocated any other use for?
Yes, and Corey and I kind of walked through this, and I'm really mad that I forgot to include my memo because it was really good memo. Maybe I'll send it to you anyways, just for giggles.
What is the percentage, Susie? What does it work out to in terms of a percentage of our overarching budget? Like ballpark?
Oh
It's
boy.
like, it's low. Where's Brian when you need him?
He's in Gladwin hanging out with his dad.
Dan
Assuming, all right.
Snow-
Assuming, all right, so assuming that, let's see, our budget was, we just said, I mean, if we kept the same budget that you just approved, which is about 345,000,
Mhm.
and we estimate that, $45,000 each year, because that would include, any administrative engineering fees, contingency, just to be safe, right? Say 45,000 each year, that 45,000 is 13% of the budget. So, and that does account for, I mean, as Corey and I talked through this the other day, we still have, at your meeting last month, we set that reserve policy for Southfield Road. So, Southfield Road's taken care of, operating reserves will be taken care of. Taking those funds out of the equation, we have $677,000 to play with. So this cost over the next 3 years, I could easily be absorbed and we still have about 550,000 left to do other things with.
Mhm.
So like I said, I think that this would be a great use of our fund balance. I mean, this is, it tackles a big project from our development plan,
Sure.
right?
Well,
which is making
let's vote.
sidewalk
I mean, I think we're good. We should,
Okay,
want to make a motion
13%,
to vote
yeah.
or any more discussion?
all right, I'm cool with that.
Need
So
a
I-
motion to approve.
So a motion to
Fred,
approve that we will,
Here, I got a recommended motion for it. How's this?
okay.
Well,
Good.
because I had it in my memo. I'll send you the memo just because I feel like you guys should have the memo. Motion to approve the DDA sidewalk replacement program. Cover all costs associated with the program, including a 15% contingency, and authorize the DDA director to sign necessary contracts and documents.
Got it. All right.
That's
I
what Fred-
will approve or recommend or support the motion as stated
Stay, Susie.
by Susie, right?
Fred, I'll
Second.
second that.
So you got
I
the motion from Fred, Bobby seconds. So I would like to do a roll call vote to approve the DDA replacement sidewalk program for the property from, I guess it's from 11 Mile, whatever Susie
It's
said.
from Lincoln to 12 Mile.
There it is, the Lincoln to 11 and some ADA 11 to 12. In the amount in contingency presented at 27,876.
47 or 40, call it 40.
38,
no, I'm sorry,
721
38.
plus the
There you go.
contingency. All right, there we go. So all in favor of that mouthful, Pam,
Yes.
Shyla,
Yes.
awesome. Cheryl,
Yes.
Bobby,
Yes.
Fred,
Yes.
and yes for me. So unanimously approved. Motion carried.
All right, awesome. Sorry, that was Mondays
we-
on a Friday.
The things that we need to vote on, guys.
Yep, we got two
We have
more. One
Two more,
Two
more, and
Okay.
then we'll be quick.
Grant application.
Yep, so I've been working with he's a brand new, not just a brand new business, brand new property owner. He bought that entire building. He's had some
Which
challenges.
building? Which building?
It's the former gin cleaners. It's at 26079 Southfield. So he's almost right there at the end at Lincoln. Like I
Oh,
said, it was the old gin cleaners. So he wants to open a rehabilitation facility. It's by appointment only. So there's not a whole lot of like in and out traffic, but he's moving from Southfield to Lathrup. And we're really excited about it. So
woo!
yeah, I know. So
Sorry, you better get, well, get done.
right, I know. So I know he's got future plans for even more facade renovations, but for right now, he's just really looking to put up a brand new sign and start
Let's do
start
it.
his business. So I would my recommendation is that you approve the full the maximum sign grant amount of $2,000. His estimate is 5,200. So he still has
I
to
move
pull.
that we approve the grant application
Thank you.
from US Rehabilitation for the maximum amount allowed of up to $2,000 in the reimbursement.
I'll second. Carol.
Bobby seconds, all in favor of that, Pam,
Yes.
Shyla,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Bobby,
Aye.
Fred,
Yes.
so approved. Motion carried. Send Mr. Mr. Jefferson a check.
Yes.
All right. So,
Last, Summer Concert Series food truck coupon.
yep, we want, like Corey mentioned earlier, we want to try and get these food trucks there, give them a guarantee. We've got a mock-up of the card, although we'll have our awesome little logo on there and not just
Right.
that. So ignore that part, but this would be, cover a $5 coupon reimbursement for each of the food trucks. So giving us a total budget with printing at $2,045. So, we're hoping this helps bring food trucks there and makes our events even awesomer.
Did you get a quote from for the print? It seems
That's-
kind of high. The
Actually-
$2,000?
That-
Oh, okay, wait.
No, the printing was through FedEx. We also checked, I believe, Zip Printing and a couple other places, and these are just like
$45
business card size.
Right, right.
So
The coupon itself is $2,000 we're allocating to reimburse the trucks.
Oh, so I'm misreading. that.
$45 for the printing, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, I almost had a heart attack.
no,
Okay,
Yeah.
I missed. Yeah, thanks for.
So- So where do
Move
people?
that we
pay?
approve the program and costs associated with the $5 coupon for the concert series.
Yeah, so just so I understand the concept, I understand, who would we give these to?
these would be to residents or attendees of the concert. They would have to come to the DDA's table to get it. And Corey and I have also talked about, in order to get it, you have to give us a valid email so we can build our email list, our e-newsletter list, both for the city and for the DDA and our communications. So
Okay,
one
and then.
email, one gift, $5 off.
And it's one per person.
So
one
we're,
per
are we-
purchase.
Cheryl
are we
gives me-
allocating up to 500 cards? So that's not guaranteeing that we're gonna hand out
It just-
500.
It just comes out, that's like, the amounts that you can order on FedEx, we would need to get the 500 pack. We're only gonna give out 50 per concert.
Yeah, so I'm saying, but if only 12 people redeem them, that's $60.
Right,
Just because you hand a card out doesn't mean somebody's gonna use that, right?
Ex-
So it's
right.
up to 2,000, might be less. So we're hoping it's
Yeah.
$2,000 and a lot of
Yeah.
people come, but, okay. All
Can
right,
they
we're
use
clear.
the card at any concert? Can they save it and bring it back to the next concert?
Yes, so it's valid through the whole summer at the
Right.
concert series. The food trucks will sign them and at the end of the concert, turn them in back to us so we can reimburse them.
It has
which
to
will
be a
work with-
2021 summer concert event, so.
Yes.
So you might be a little heavy at the front end because people might get them and save them because they don't like that particular food truck. How do we know? Plus,
Right.
how are you cross-reference when you get the email that you don't already? Like as a housekeeping function, when you go to data, enter email address.
Yeah.
How do you
hand-
redundancies? Well, we'll just hope they're
Handing it
gonna
out
have
is
valid
not-
email.
Yeah, so you hand it out, but it doesn't get redeemed until they go to the food truck.
Correct.
The food
Right.
truck gives it back to you and that's how you know it got used.
Yes,
Is that
mhm.
correct?
The food truck will have to sign and date it. That's that little food truck line there. That's where the food truck will fill it out.
You're just gonna get those at the end of the event?
Yeah,
Like just
yeah.
give a food guy like, hey, or whatever you got for tonight.
All right. Motion to approve spending up to $2,000 to help support concert goers with $5 of food. please.
Yep, Cheryl got that, so we just need a second.
Second,
Second,
all in favor, Pam,
yes.
Charlotte,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Bobby,
Aye.
Fred,
Aye.
and Dan. Approved. All right, motion carried.
All right, I don't
Any,
believe we have
uh,
any. I don't think we have any. Oh,
It looks like Pam and
comment.
Rami are sitting. It looks like Pam, I don't know where Susie went, but it looks like.
I
Pam
don't
and
know where I
Rami
went
are-
either. I'm trying to get back to you guys. I'm sorry. There we go.
Okay.
It was like an island of some kind.
Yeah, I don't know, sorry.
So I'm assuming we have no public attendees, no public comment.
I'm not seeing any, no.
Any other final comments? All right, if
We
not,
might
have-
want a motion to excuse Mark since I think he had a technical difficulties that prevented him from coming back in, but
Okay, motion to excuse Mark
So moved.
and support.
I'll second that.
Bobby, all in favor, Pam,
Yes.
Shyla,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Bobby,
Yes.
Fred,
Yes.
and support. Yep. So Mark
Motion
is
to adjourn.
officially approved to be absent. And then with that, happy Father's Day to all and have a
Happy
wonderful
Father's Day.
weekend. Yeah,
And to all of you.
yeah, and have a great weekend. Thanks, guys.